little bit confusing over the last few days because, you know, we are having an impact, and we do have a government that's a little worried about the strength of the protest that you people and all of us together are putting forward every day. And so one of the things they did last week was they decided to delay the cuts until September. But I want to say to you that while that is a very, very tiny little baby step forward, that does not represent the success that we are looking for, and we will not stop until these cuts are absolutely reversed for good. And if this government thinks that we need to make changes to PDD, well, that's fine. But they cannot make those changes until they sit down at a table and talk to you and to families and to service providers and to the people of Alberta who have a stake in this system. And until they have those open and honest and transparent conversations, no more cuts. You guys are great. You're a great crowd. You know what you're supposed to be doing, you know? So I want to say to you, over the last week, I've been traveling all over Alberta. It's been a little bit busy. But you need to know that wherever I go, it doesn't matter if I'm talking about environment issues, or energy issues, or child protection issues, or healthcare issues. Every person that I talk to starts the conversation with, I cannot believe what Redford is doing to the PDD community. You guys have touched the hearts and minds of all Albertans, and the cuts that have been made at your expense have sent a message to all Albertans about whether we can trust Alison Redford to be a compassionate and reasonable premier. And let me tell you that until these cuts are reversed, Albertans are drawing a conclusion that they simply cannot trust Alison Redford any longer. So we have a few people that would like to talk to you today. Some of them you've heard from already. Some of them are new. And I'm very pleased to be in the position to be able to introduce some of them to you today. So the first person, one of the, pretty much, I would say, the organizational architect and the heart, in many ways, of all the work that has been going on up here in Edmonton for a very long time. Someone who I've grown to respect more and more every time I meet with her. From Rosita, I would like to ask Marie Renaud to come up here and say a few words.
You have to stop being like this. I am so happy to see you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what's going on right now in Calgary? Same thing. So they're on the piece with their signs and they're making noise and they're letting people know inclusion means include us. Include us in every decision, and that's what we're saying. They heard us, they gave us a break, they gave us a few months off. Now we need to be invited to every single table and be involved in every decision. So I just want to say hello and thank you. I love your signs, and hopefully we won't see each other again too soon. No more tax! 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 So I want to tell a quick little story. You know, a lot of the advocates in this community have been meeting with ministers of the government about this problem, about the problem that they've created. And at a recent meeting, one of the ministers said to one of the advocates, okay, you know, you guys have demonstrated, you campaigned, and you got us to back up a little bit. But you know what? Anything beyond that, well, that's just getting annoying.
So I don't know, folks, what do you think? Should we be annoying? Yeah! Do we have more annoying in us? Yeah! Are we going to stop being annoying? Yeah! Take it from me, I've made a career out of annoying. We have lots more in us. Stop the cuts. So I'd like to introduce to you someone who's become an iconic performer at these events and who's earned a regular place here because, you know, who writes songs on a rally-by-rally basis? That's amazing. Well, I'll tell you who does that. That's Maria Dunn. And so I want to welcome Maria Dunn.
Thanks so much for coming back. We're all getting good wear out of our t-shirts. I wrote a song that I sang for the first time ever last week, and the person who inspired that wasn't here last week, but she's here today, so I want to welcome Karen Hansen.
And Max is over there on the sound, and Max, if I could get a little more vocal in the monitor, that'd be fabulous. Doing a wonderful job from Listen Louder. They've been providing the sound here at these rallies. So, if you were here last week, you remember that I sing, "They don't know," and you sing, "What love is." We are here to show them. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. They thought that you'd give up. They thought you'd go away. They wish you would fall silent like the dawn's early gray. But you are more alive than ever, like brilliant boisterous birds, calling to each other, determined to be heard. Let's hear ya. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. It's in the everyday, the silly mundane, that acknowledges and smiles at you and calls you by your name. It's in the close connection, it's in the kindest touch, it's in the gentle laughter and the care that helps so much. They all know what love is. We are here to show them. They all know what love is. We are here to show them. Love forgets you not, love that you love. It brings you to the light, It accepts you as you are, and it stands up for your rights. It takes the time to listen to what you really need. Takes the time to see you in all your dignity. Here we go. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. They don't know what love is. We are here to show them. Thank you, Karen. It was Karen's words 2 weeks ago that inspired me to write that song, and such powerful words they were. Thank you, Karen.
I love you guys too. I'm not done yet. tell you that I am afraid of what may happen to me. If I don't have staff all the time, I have a choking problem, and it is very scary. When it happens, sometimes I trip easily, and I can hurt myself if I fall. I need staff to help me. It doesn't make me feel good that I might not have staff at night. It scares me. A few more words. If we don't have staff, we won't be able to visit our friends or to be part of the community. It will be boring. The government needs to listen to us. Please don't cut our funding. Thank you for hearing me. Thank you. And for other things to close, I want to thank God for all our my special friends here today, and mostly for our staff. We could have many of us other staff, and please, whoever there is, I want them to know that we love our staff, I love my friends, and please, no cutbacks.
Thank you so much, Karen, giving us a voice and giving us a face. I'd like next to introduce Brian Wallace. Brian? Oh, okay, sorry. No, not yet. We're going to get to Brian. Before we get to Brian, I would like to introduce Paul Pushishiki. Did I get that right? Great. Paul is from Transitions, another service provider, and he has some important words that he'd like to bring to you today. Please join me in welcoming Paul.
Wow, this is a seed. Looks like a big yellow banana here. This is terrific. Wonderful. So I prepared a few things, and forgive me, I've been involved in working in this area for over 30 years, so I can't exactly speak on behalf of everybody, but I think I have a few things that might be relevant. So the first thing I want to say is, you know what? We don't want to be here. I mean, we are people. We want what everyone else wants. We want to be citizens of our community. We want to be loved. We want to love. We want respect. And we want to make our contributions to the community. And again, I'll say, we don't want to be here. We are parents. We are families. We are friends. And we support our loved ones. And we see the potential in people, in our sons and daughters and our loved ones. And that's really what we focus on. Our loved ones are not CIS scores. They're not about needs and deficits. They're about potential. They're about strengths. They're about assets. And of course, they're people first. I would invite any government person to have a CIS evaluation done and see where they come out. It should be interesting. Again, we don't want to be here. We are staff. We have chosen to work in this field on behalf of individuals. We see the differences that what we do can make, and we get as much out of it as the individuals we support, for sure. But, you know, we need to have the assistance of people as well. And finally, we don't want to be here. We are organizations. Some of us have been around for more than 50 years. We've been the backbone of community living for many, many years. And we aspire to higher standards. We see community living as being important. We have the staff and volunteers. And we pursue social justice and excellence. So all of us are here today to give the message that we don't want to be here. And we have not been able to do those things I've talked about over the last weeks and months. And that's a disgrace that we can't do. We can't have the ordinary lives that we all want. So that's a message again that I think has to be noted that we want to be doing the things we want to do in life. We don't want to be coming to these rallies. So government has told us, we've been listening, we're hearing you, give us a chance. And I'm saying, yes, we need to give them a chance, be prepared to do that. However, we'll be watching. And this time, we want a seat at the table. And I think the phrase, nothing about us without us, resonates really highly with me. So let's not make these mistakes. And I want to thank all of you for being vigilant and for coming forth and having your voices heard. You have made the difference, definitely. And it's your voices that are going to carry the day. And you have to hold government accountable. They've made a promise, let's hold them accountable. So in closing, we don't want to be here. But we'll be back if we need to be.
One that just really appealed to me. It says, "Fix you, not us." I think that's one we should all say a few times. So after me, 1, 2, 3. Fix you, not us. Fix you, not us. Fix you, not us. Fix you, not us. So we should mix it up a little bit. So we don't have anybody representing the government here today, but we do have a few other politicians that are in the crowd. And so a couple that I'd like to recognize from the NDP caucus with us today is Darren Billis. Also, the precursor to Darren from Edmonton Beverly Clareview and the former leader of the NDP and a school board trustee candidate, Ray Martin, back there between. And then from the Liberal Party to bring us greetings, the fabulous MLA from the fabulous Edmonton Centre. And I believe she's also bringing along a friend with her, her leader, Raj Sherman. Hi everybody, my name's Laurie Blakeman and welcome to my fabulous constituency of Edmonton Centre. Now you said that you didn't want to be here, and I know that, but I am really glad that you are here because you have been successful already in helping the government to understand what the issues are. And I just want to say, the government, this is a wealthy, wealthy province. We should be able to work with everybody here for a dignified life so you can participate fully in the life of the province. And I think the problem is we are dealing with the same pie and more forks. And the government won't bake a bigger pie. But we all have, and other people out there who don't currently qualify, have forks, because we need to be fed. And we need our workers with us. In particular, I want to put a shout out to the folks with the self-managed co-ops, like Creekside in Mill Creek and Abbey Road on White Avenue. Those are particularly important to me because it is you taking control of your own lives and how you want it to be, how you want to be helped. And my thanks to my old friend, not because he's old, but we've been friends for a long time, Ken Thomas, for helping, for writing to me and letting me know what was happening there. So keep up the pressure, you're doing really well, and now you're going to get the leader of the Alberta Liberals, Raj Sherman.
Thank you so much, Laurie. Rachel, all the organizers, and each and every one of you, thank you so much for making your voice heard. The song, you're absolutely right. Redford conservatives do not know what love is. They don't. I have to give credit. The fact that you have the Wild Rose Party, the NDP Party, and the Alberta Liberal Party here together. Together united, because this is not a political issue. it's a human issue. We all stand alongside you. Today I was in Stony Plain, Garrett and I were in Stony Plain. We want to thank the First Nations in Treaty 6 for giving us the privilege of being on this wonderful land. Thank each and every one of you. And keep making your voice heard. Thank you. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Raj and Laurie. And just following up on their point there, we do have all the opposition parties on side in the fact that we need to stop these cuts. And here today to bring greetings and some comments from the Wild Rose, Carrie Toll, MLA for Sylvan Lake. And Sylvan Lake and the Wild Rose Seniors Critic. Please join me in welcoming Carrie.
Well, thank you so much. As Dr. Sherman said, this isn't a political issue, this is a human issue. And I was a caregiver for my brother with Huntington's. And I know for a fact that when you pick and choose your caregivers and the staff that you surround your loved ones with, that is a personal choice, not a government choice. We know that this government doesn't have a plan. They don't have a plan for seniors, they don't have a plan for home care, and they don't have a plan for PDD. What their plan is to get out of the business of looking after vulnerable Albertans and take their pie, and they're going to eat it all back there.
Thank you, Carrie. So, I believe I may have, okay, I'm losing my word finding ability right now, so just ignore that. I started to introduce, no, I'm going to do that later, right? Change this around. You know, we really are just winging this up here, but that's the thing about organic protest, and it's genuine and it's real. So we have to sing for you now, Wayne Alchin. Wayne is a local blues guitarist who also works in the disability services field. Where's Wayne? Wayne. Oh, there you are. Okay. Let's go. So Wayne is going, please help me. Welcome, Wayne Alchin, for you.
Thank you very much, you guys. Hey, may the banana revolution live on.
Well, thank you very much, Wayne. That was awesome. I think you're going to find your phone ringing off the hook for pretty much every future demonstration of any kind. That was great. I've never seen anybody put together a demonstration song in progress like that. Give it one more round. Okay, so throughout this event, I have been trying over and over to introduce Brian Wallace. Every time it comes time for me to do someone else, I try to introduce Brian. And then everyone goes, no, not yet. But I think now is the time for Brian. Is Brian here? Brian? There. Oh, there we go, Brian Wallace. Excellent. So Brian is speaking on behalf of his wife, Joanne. He is stepfather to Brady, who receives support services from Transitions. Please join me in welcoming Brian Wallace.
Well, I'll try to be quick so we don't get too wet. Like you said, I'm actually here today on behalf of our son, Brady, who can't be here because of disability. I'm also here, and my wife and Brady's mother wanted to be here but is out of town. So she wrote this for me to read on behalf of herself and me. This is such a huge issue for all of us on so many levels. What role does the government play when it comes to supporting people with developmental disabilities? When we think of what the most important role the government plays, it is to take care of the people of our province. And determining on who needs help, the weakest people of our society are those who the government should look at to support first. To neglect the people with developmental disabilities puts them at great risk and puts society at a risk as a whole. As a province, we need to care for the weakest in our society first before anything else. Let me address now the CIS assessment that I was told that I had to partake in. It was presented to me that it was just routine, and I specifically asked if the information given would bring any bearing whatsoever on my son's contract and budget with PDD. I was told none whatsoever. This was just routine. As the parent of a son with developmental disability, I have been answering questions and filling out forms for his whole life, so I know what I have to do and when, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for him to get the support he needs. I answered the questions truthfully, but I will tell you that had I known that what I said was going to result in a 30% care cut for him, I certainly would have been more forceful when asked the questions like, can he be left alone? When I said no, I would have screamed at the top of my lungs and said, no, he cannot be left alone. Especially now that I have known what was told to me at the time of assessment and what is really true, that the information I gave does in fact have a bearing on his support to court, I would have been more forceful. We were told at the minister's presentation on May 29th at the Italian Center that we changed our mind and decided this was a very good assessment to determine funding. I would like to ask, how is it possible that at the end of March to the beginning of May, the government could quickly switch its thinking and take this assessment to a different level? And when this assessment was made, why was I not notified? We were also told at the meeting that we were not happy with our CIS assessment, we could be reassessed. I would expect that of the huge crowd, if there being no more cuts to our individual loved ones' support, we will all ask for a reassessment or will appeal the decision. How is this good for our tax dollars? This is very hard for me to understand when we need every penny put to proper use for supporting our loved ones rather than political red tape. I would also like to just make a small but rather important part that with regards to this assessment as the CIS evaluation, those of us who have loved ones with disabilities readily comply with whatever answer, whatever question and evaluation we have to, we need the services of the government and agencies to help our loved ones. But I would like to tell you how hard it is for us to sit and have to expose every weakness, negativity, characteristic, medical problem over and over again. And I would expect that there isn't one caregiver and parent or guardian who feels that they have to beg for support. And go through some questionnaires with a horrible knot in your stomach because of the control the government has on deciding what is right for our loved ones. From the moment we all start to adjust our lives because of the care a member of our family needs, we just get used to this. Then to find out that we gave information under false pretenses is nothing short of despicable. The minister also talked of having some plans for people with disabilities to realize their dreams and goals in life. I would like to talk about my son and my experience about dreams and goals. Our dreams and goals for my son were dashed away many, many years ago. What was a dream when he was born for his future became a harsh reality very quickly when we realized that his life would never be the same for us. And our dream for his life was that he could be the best person he could be, that we would fight for him tell him, love him until the day we no longer are able to. How dare the minister speak of helping Albertans with developmental disabilities realize their dreams and goals when we now have the nightmare that they will not be supported properly? And even to imply that because my son has a developmental disability and overall it was found that people with developmental disabilities have dreams and goals is such a slap in the face to what should have come out loud and clear on the assessment for my son. My son doesn't understand any of this. My son can't work, he can't be alone. He can't care for himself, and he never will be able to. But yet now his funding will be cut. What would my dream be? I lost my dream for my son.
It's not your fault, I
but I spent 22 years filling out forms, answering questions, and hoping the government will help with people skilled to work with my son so that he can be the best person he can be. We don't have dreams, but we have our nightmares. Nightmares that he will not be cared for when we die, or there will be no one to fight for him. That the government will decide redoing assessments and doing constant overhauls on the budget that will put our son at risk. It was appalling to me that at the meeting on May 29th, those speaking were amazed at attendance. This should be a clear indication of the stress, hardship, and the fear this whole issue causes, not just the individuals with the families, but any takeaways and support cause. There is no way to ever describe to someone who has not had a child or loved one, whether from birth or result of a sickness or accident, that is like to deal with disabilities. No one can understand the loss of dreams, the work, the heartache that goes along with this. Then to add into it the fear of what we will do, where we will go, and then to have the government that we voted for now come and start taking away from our loved ones. How odd that the government decided to finally raise age benefits before the election, but now wants to take it away another way. We keep hearing we aren't cutting, but it is very clear to all of us that what is being called no cuts may not be a change in the budget allotment, but is a cut to the heart of all of us. If indeed there are no cuts, but as the minister says, funds going to others who were not serviced properly before, it is very clear that there needs to be a huge increase to service all the people with disabilities. We also heard that we aren't giving teachers raises, no doctors raises, while I would put to you that doctors and teachers can fight for themselves. Our loved ones with disabilities cannot. So here we are, making a strong statement that we cannot have our services cut. No more cuts!
Thank you, Brian, because you know, he did a really good job of telling the story about the families and their situations and really giving us some insight into the day-to-day lives that people with disabilities and people and their families and their service providers live through. And I appreciate that. And you know, he makes another really, really good point. If the government is serious about wanting to improve the quality of services for people with disabilities, and increase the number of people who are eligible for those services, we don't need cuts, we need more money. This is a wealthy province, and it's about time that the wealthiest of Albertans start paying their fair share so that we can provide the quality of life that people who are lucky enough to live in a province like this deserve. So I just want to say congratulations to all of you. I think we just learned a very important lesson here. If we can wait out the rain, we can wait out Redford. So we're just getting ready to wrap up, but I know Marie has a couple of really important words for you. So please, Mel, come back. Marie Renaud.
Thank you again for coming out. I just, one of the women that we support, her name is Siobhan, her mom, Stephanie Page, is here. So she and another parent, well, quite a few people, have been busy gathering signatures for a petition. So we'll hopefully be getting it to Premier Redford, but since she's not here, we'll have to do it another day.
Hey, everybody a little bit dry yet? Not yet? As I said, my name is Stephanie Page, and I'm the mother of Siobhan Galore. She receives services from Wasika, and thank you very much. I appreciate all the people in Siobhan. Siobhan has a wonderful life because of all of her caregivers and the money that the government is helping to take care of her. Oh, and unfortunately, they're considering taking away some of that services, and that's going to adversely affect my daughter as well as everybody that's here today. I know it's wrong, Siobhan knows it's wrong, and the government knows it's wrong. So now we've got to start yelling and screaming and making them pay attention. Now we started that by doing a petition with over 2,065 signatures on this petition. Now we're going to give it to Ms. Redgrave, and we're going to make sure that we stop doing these cuts because it's just not the right thing to do. So if anybody has not had a chance to sign this, please contact Wasika. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to keep this petition going. And let's stop these cuts.
So before we wrap up and I let you go dry off, just a couple of other things. I just want to thank Rachel Notley and her amazing team. This is an amazing, inspiring woman.